Hey, Richard Bryce here, Tennis Hacker. This video is all about getting more topspin on the one-handed backhand. The format's going to be a little bit different though. Instead of just talking, I'm going to show you my practice session, what I'm working on and how I work on things. As a little bit of a background, I'm a right-handed player that I separated my collarbone. I got another video that talks about it in more detail, but I'm relearning to play left-handed. I've been going for around 14 to 15 weeks and I'm improving steadily. I'm pretty good defensively, so now I need to find more attacking options and way to kind of put my opponent under pressure. So that's why I really want to develop more spin and more power on my single-handed backhand. So I'm going to show you the way that I work on things. To start with, just going to be a little bit of a mini tennis setup. I've got simple ball machine feed and I've got a couple of cones that hopefully you can see over there, because with mini tennis it really forces you to try and get the timing, and really everything on the one-hander is about timing. I've got to meet the ball out in front because that's what allows me to roll up the back of the ball and create the spin. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I hope you like the format. If you do, let me know and I can make more videos like this. And of course, if you like the video, give me that thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Okay, so the goal of the session, trying to get more spin on the backhand. To make that happen, timing is going to be the key. I've got to meet the ball out in front of my body, so it's all going to be about footwork, trying to get myself in the right position, because obviously that's the hard thing about tennis. The ball goes where the ball goes. You've got to be able to adapt to it, set up in the right position and get the good contact point. The secondary thing that I'm really focusing on is trying to keep my head still on contact, because obviously we really want to improve consistency. So for the whole time, I'm going to be focusing on keeping my head still. Okay, so I've done a few regular stance. Now I'm going to work on open stance. The reason I want to work on this, like I just said, is because sometimes you have to hit from an open stance. The more that you're used to dealing with a different type of shots, the more chance that you've got, should it happen in a rally or should it happen in a match. So neutral stance, open stance. I'm now going to move into the ball a little bit. So I'll go for the open stance again, but just involving a little bit of movement. And again, my focus is just the timing and keeping the head still. Can I get below the height of the ball? Can I brush up it? Obviously, I've got to make sure I'm getting a good unit turn and things like that as I move. Do one more open stance, and then I'm going to go to a closed stance. So kind of trying to get the timing of stepping across like you would have to do on a white ball. Is a little bit late on that one, so I've got to think, just trying to meet that ball earlier, just trying to brush up. What's the timing like? Pushing through my hip. Now a bit of defensive footwork. So moving backwards is often one of the most challenging things for people, so you want to practice it. And doing it in the mini tennis format really forces you to try and stay relaxed, get that ball out in front. Okay, one more of those, and then I'm going to go for a couple of outside hops. So again, another defensive footwork pattern, but by practicing these things in the mini tennis format and through the rest of the session, it's really going to increase the chance that I can get the timing later on. Last few, just stepping forwards into the ball, so just working on stepping through as if I'm dealing with that short ball, and then just a couple of hop steps to finish with. Again, another attacking option, but all I'm trying to do is get the timing, get below the height of the ball, brush up the back of the ball and keep my head still. Okay, I've moved to the back of the court. I'm going to be feeding myself one of those nothing balls, really, the ball that I need to be able to kind of do something with to start to push my opponent back and play at a higher level. So I'm going to work on cross court, I'm going to work on down the line, and basically I'm going for the same thing. I'm trying to get my feet in the right place, I'm trying to get my unit turn, and I'm just trying to get the timing of doing it all, meeting the ball out in front and consistently getting that spin. So let's have a look. So just going to start with about 10 or so cross court. And then I'm going to go down the line. Let's take a little look at it in slow motion. I'm fairly happy with my main objective, which was to try and meet the ball out in front, try to time the ball well, and try to keep my head nice and still. I think if I was being as critical as I could be, the main thing that I would change is to keep my body a little bit more side on for a little bit longer. On some of these shots, I was opening my chest up maybe a little bit too soon, so maybe that's more of a technical thing that I need to think about, or maybe it's more of a timing issue, so that one was a little bit better than the last one. But that would be the main thing that I would think about technically. But like I said, the main aim for me is the timing, nice early preparation, racket drop, drive through the back hip, drive through the torso, and then try and make that nice, clean contact out in front, keeping my head still on contact. Okay, I started with that ball where I was having to generate my own power and spin. Now I'm going to be feeding myself a deeper, harder ball, so I don't really have to do much to generate the power. So it's just about getting the timing and getting the spin. I'm going to be working on neutral stance and I'm going to be working on open stance. They're all going to be going cross court because there is no way that I would attempt to go down the line off this ball with my current level of ability. So let's have a look at what it's like. Okay. So just trying to footwork, get in the right place, get these back deep cross court. As you can see, I'm not having to do too much to generate pace on them. It's just trying to get the time in. As you can see, I'm having to move back a little bit for all of these. I could adjust my footwork and just start further back, but it's good practice to have to move back like you would when you were playing. Now I'm going to go for a few closed stance. Timing was definitely not good on that one. So maybe I wouldn't need to hit a closed stance off this, but by practicing it, at least it's going to give me the option. I'm going to have experienced trying to get the timing from more balls. I'm going to make myself move a little bit more. So I'm starting to get it a little bit better, and this is obviously Okay, so let's take a look at these deeper balls in slow motion. Firstly, I just want to apologize. As I was hitting those last balls, I said closed stance, whereas obviously I'm working on an open stance. But overall, I was fairly happy with the quality of my shot. My goal is to meet the ball out in front. So I'm trying to get a nice quality unit turn, an early unit turn as I was moving back. So getting my racket set ready in time to step forwards, and as I step forwards, driving through that back hip
and trying to brush up the back of the ball or externally rotate my shoulder to go up the back of the ball and create the topspin. So overall, fairly happy with it. Again, I would say that the main technical fault that I would find in it was just potentially opening up my upper body, my chest a little bit sooner. So that one was definitely better than the previous couple, but on some of them there's been a tendency for me to open up too soon. Now let's take a little bit of a look at the open stance. Almost made the same mistake again. So on the open stance, I'm loading up on that outside leg, and again, just trying to get the timing, thinking about getting that racket drop as I push through my right leg, my outside leg on this. If you're a right-hander, you're going to be pushing from your left leg, but just trying to get a feeling for it. The timing is the visual component of when you start the swing, but it's also the feeling and the sequencing of the movements in relationship to where the ball is.
Okay, that's what my training sessions look like. From there, I would normally work on a couple of different footwork options. So some of the things that I did at the start in the warm-up, work on moving forwards, work on moving backwards, because it's all about just trying to master the basics. Like I said, you can't control where the ball goes. You have to get yourself in the right position. So practicing the different footwork patterns, making sure that you get your unit turn as you move to the ball, and then getting a feeling for what it's like to drive off the back leg and time that with a torso rotation so that you can meet the ball out in front. Same thing when you're moving backwards, same thing when you're moving to the side. So just doing those things over and over again. So I hope you found that useful. I guess before I go, the thing that I want to say is I've only been going at this for around 14 or 15 weeks. I'm very happy with the improvements that I've made, but the real reasons that I've been able to make these improvements are because I've done so much work off the court. I learned to play tennis when I was 8 years old. I played all the way through, and quite frankly, the timing on my left-handed backhand is probably better than my right-handed backhand was for most of my life. It wasn't until I improved my visual system and did a lot of work on my coordination that I was able to become a much better player right-handed. And now what I'm finding learning left-handed is that if I practice, I improve, but the reason that happens is because my body is already capable of playing tennis. So if you really want to get better at tennis, I highly recommend getting your systems functioning better. I've got a couple of ways to help you. There is a free vision training program that there's a link to down below. It all starts with vision. If you can't judge distance, you're never going to have good timing, so you've got to start working on your vision. But then I also work with players via some online programs, and if you'd like to chat about that, there's another link down in the description. Reach out. It's a free chat. I can learn more about your game and see if there's a way that I can help, and we can take it from there. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. Like I said at the start, if you enjoyed the format, I can make more of these, showing you the sort of stuff that I do on court and kind of talking you through the thought processes and how I think about things as I'm doing them. Okay, see you next time.